My boss, who also happens to be my ex-boyfriend, saw the 2 front-row concert tickets I posted on my socials and Venmo'd me $1,000. He slid into my DMs with his usual arrogance, money sent. Save a ticket for me. And that's how I ended up in the front row, meeting his new girlfriend. She stared at me for a long time, then cupped her face with both hands and let out a tiny, disbelieving shriek. Mrs. L? After the lockdown years, it felt like every singer was finally going on tour this year. Finally, to the delight of his massive fan base, Leo posted on his X account, "I'm back. See you at the old spot." He included a link to buy tickets. I eagerly set an alarm, ready to try my luck. But I had seriously underestimated the popularity of a music legend. After shamelessly telling my contact, Angela, that I didn't need her help, I had to swallow my pride and text her again. "Hey, so, I couldn't get tickets." A few moments later, Angela replied, "I knew you wouldn't. I already saved them for you. Front row center." Seeing all the girls in the fan group lamenting how they got stuck on the purchasing page or the payment screen, I couldn't resist. I had to post a little something on my socials to show off. I just forgot to hide it from my boss and ex-boyfriend. Money sent. Save a ticket for me. Guilt-ridden, I offered my sincerest apologies to my best friend. "I'm so sorry, but he offered way too much money." Chloe poked me hard in the forehead. "Do you really need $1,000 that badly? You know how long I've been waiting to see my man's concert." My head snapped up. "Whose man?" Chloe sheepishly lowered her hand. Your man. It was a slip of the tongue. "But seriously," she said, "why would you give him the ticket? Don't tell me, you still have feelings for him?" I quickly clamped my hand over her mouth and glanced around to make sure no one was listening. "Are you trying to get me killed?" I whispered urgently in her ear. "You can't just say things like that. I'm not taking the fall for this." Chloe shook her head and pried my hand away. "Then tell me why." "Well, my salary was gone, and I really wanted that new bag. $1,000. I went straight to the mall yesterday and bought it outright," I said, sheepishly showing off my new purse. Chloe just stared at me, completely speechless. The night of the concert, I tiptoed past the hardcore fans with their paparazzi-style cameras, slipping in through a backstage entrance. After a 3-year hiatus, Leo's first comeback concert was an epic event. His team had gone all out with the promotion, and tonight's venue was massive, big enough for 80,000 people. I snuck a peek behind me. A sea of waving blue light sticks stretched as far as the eye could see. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. Suddenly, the seat next to me shifted. I looked over and saw him, my ex, with his new girlfriend in tow. He was holding her hand, carefully guiding her through the crowd. I overheard him explaining to her, "Babe, tickets for your idol are impossible to get. I had my whole office trying, and we only managed to snag one. But luckily, one of my subordinates somehow got 2, so I bought one off her at a high price for my baby." His girlfriend clung to his arm, smiling sweetly. "Ah, thank you for loving me so much, honey." My ex puffed out his chest. "Don't mention it. It was only $1,000. A small price to make you happy." I couldn't listen anymore and turned away. My ex sat down next to me. He looked at me as if he'd just noticed I was there and frowned. "Susan, what are you doing here?" I rolled my eyes and muttered to myself, "Don't act so surprised, like you didn't buy your ticket from me." "Didn't you sell me your ticket?" he asked. Suppressing my annoyance at the idiot, I put on my best respectful employee voice. "Mr. Klein, I had 2 tickets." Kevin just grunted in response, eager to continue peacocking for his new girlfriend. "Mandy, don't be upset. Susan might be my ex, but she's just my subordinate now. I only love you." His girlfriend, Mandy, seemed a bit confused by his declaration, as if she wasn't sure what was happening. She followed his gaze and looked over at me. I just smiled, letting my boss's new girlfriend look me over. But then I saw her pupils slowly dilate under the sweeping spotlights, her mouth forming a perfect O. My own eyes widened. "No way, it can't be," I thought. We stared at each other for what felt like an eternity. Finally, she cupped her face with both hands and whispered in disbelief, Mrs. L?" The 3 of us sat there like statues for a long time. Kevin tried to speak a few times, but Mandy just slapped him back into silence. Every so often, Mandy would lean forward, peering at me out of the corner of her eye. I slowly leaned back, using Kevin's body to block her view, pretending to be completely engrossed in Leo's performance. Then, a spotlight swept across our row, and my eyes met Leo's. For a split second, his voice faltered, an almost imperceptible pause, before he seamlessly continued the song. On stage, Leo narrowed his eyes. His dangerous gaze shot straight toward me, and my heart started to pound. I quietly raised my hands to cover my face and sighed internally. He finally caught me scalping his tickets. I knew he would stir up some trouble. Sure enough, after the song finished, Leo gestured to the band. That tiny movement sent the entire stadium into a frenzy of screams, the light sticks waving even faster. Mandy shrieked with excitement beside me. Leo tossed his hair, took the microphone off its stand, and walked closer to my side of the stage. The screams from behind me were so loud they felt like they could pierce through my body. Leo stared right at me from across the stage. I'm so dead. I want to dedicate this next song to the one I love. Over the past 3 years, I finally had the time to be with her, to watch the sun rise and set. And I had the energy to care for her as she brought our little angel into the world. I want to thank her, and I want to tell her one more time. I love you. The crowd roared, and the sea of light sticks turned from blue to pink. Leo had never denied the rumors that he was married, but this was the first time he had openly told his fans that he had a wife and a child. From somewhere in the crowd, I heard a woman's voice, choked with tears but full of blessing. You have to be happy. You, Mrs. L, and your little princess, you all have to be happy. I suddenly felt my own eyes welling up with tears. But the intense, curious gaze from the person next to me quickly forced them back. Mandy was clearly a diehard fan. She knew all about my secret marriage to Leo and our low-key attitude, so she kept quiet, just watching me with her big, beautiful eyes. This continued until the concert ended. Kevin stood up and, with a gentlemanly air that couldn't hide his arrogance, asked me, "You came alone? Do you need a ride home? I don't mind giving you a lift. I'm a generous boss, after all." Mandy looked at him, seeming like she wanted to say something but couldn't. I politely raised my hand to wave him off. But it was intercepted by a man in a hat, sunglasses, and a mask who had appeared in front of me. "Shaking hands with your ex right in front of me?" The man was tall, and even his loose-fitting trench coat couldn't hide his incredible physique. Mandy clapped a hand over her mouth again, her eyes wide as she forcibly suppressed a scream. Leo pulled me into his arms, his arm wrapped tightly and powerfully around my waist. From Mandy's expression, I could practically read her thoughts. I'm shipping this so hard right now. Leo had thrown the trench coat on over his stage outfit, making him look like some man in black. Besides a superfan like Mandy, no one else would probably recognize him. Clearly, Kevin didn't. Mandy looked at me, her eyes pleading as she whispered, "Can I get his number?" Kevin's brow furrowed in disapproval. I hesitated. "I don't think that's a good idea." The hand on my waist gave me a satisfied pat. Mandy immediately followed up, "Well, can I have your number then?" It sounded like she had wanted my number all along. "I guess that's okay. Kevin has my number. You can just have him share my contact card." Since she was Kevin's girlfriend, it was better to let him handle it. The hand on my waist suddenly gave me a light pinch. Leo leaned in close, whispering in my ear, "Why do you still have your ex's number?" I couldn't read his tone, but it felt dangerous. He was clearly just trying to pick a fight. He knew perfectly well that Kevin was my department head. How could I possibly block my boss? I petulantly slapped his hand away. Mandy, who had been watching us intently, once again muffled a scream. Kevin, meanwhile, jumped back in to reclaim the spotlight. "Mandy, let me explain. Susan is just my subordinate. We have no contact outside of work." Mandy gave him a strange look. "I didn't ask." Visibly losing face, Kevin quickly pulled out his phone. "Forget all that nonsense. Just share Susan's contact info with me." Mandy then turned her big eyes back to me, looking hopeful. "Can I call you Susan?" Her wink hit me right in the heart. I took a small breath and nodded. And that damn Leo pinched me again. On the way back, Leo and I sat in the back seat. His manager and assistant were up front, quietly discussing some minor issues from tonight's concert to make sure they didn't happen again. Leo impassively raised the privacy divider. The streetlights cast shifting patterns on his face through the window, highlighting the same perfect profile I'd always known. With one arm, Leo pulled me onto his lap. This man's gym sessions were definitely not going to waste. He brushed the stray hairs from the nape of my neck and placed a soft kiss there. His breath on my skin sent a shiver down my spine. You've had my daughter, and you still dare to flirt with someone else right in front of me? I've been framed. What are you talking about? You're just making things up. I can count the number of new guys I've met in the last few years on one hand. Leo tilted my chin up, his lips brushing against mine. The same goes for women. Yep, he was definitely just trying to pick a fight. I pressed my palm against his forehead, pushing him away. Keep pretending. It's obvious she's a longtime fan of yours. When she couldn't get your number, she tried to get to you through me. His little scheme exposed, Leo dropped the act, let out a soft huff, and leaned in to kiss me again. When we got home, our sweet daughter, Lily, was already asleep. Mrs. Lynn was gently rocking her cradle. Our little baby had her soft knuckles pressed against her cheek, sleeping so soundly she was practically bubbling. I couldn't resist leaning over to give her a kiss. Leo gently kissed Lily's cheek, too. After signaling to Mrs. Lynn, we quietly tiptoed back to our room. I opened my phone and scrolled through the chat history in my work group. The annual company party was coming up, and rumor had it the budget was huge this year. The administration department was planning to hire a celebrity to liven things up. The group chat was buzzing with excitement. Leo leaned over my shoulder, looking at my phone screen. They should hire me, he said nonchalantly. I'll do it for free. All I want is a kiss from my wife. I pushed his head away. Go to sleep. Just as I was about to turn off my phone, I saw a new friend request. The note said Mandy. I accepted it without thinking much of it. I had no idea how she explained to Kevin why she wanted to add me. But based on how she acted at the concert, she probably hadn't revealed my relationship with Leo. The next morning at my desk, I had a document that needed Kevin's signature. I knocked on his office door and went in after he said to. Kevin was leaning back in his executive chair, slowly sipping his coffee. I kept it professional. Mr. Klein, could you please review this document? Kevin took it casually, tossed it on his desk without looking at it, and just sized me up with an arrogant expression. That guy from last night, he's your new boyfriend, right? Looking at his smug face, I forced a smile. Mr. Klein, that's my personal business. I'd rather not report it to you. Kevin sneered. Look at you. You left me and couldn't even find someone better. He didn't even show up to the concert with you. Couldn't afford a ticket? I shot back, didn't I sell you that ticket? That was supposed to be his seat. Sorry, Chloe, I had to borrow your spot for a minute. This just made Kevin even more arrogant. It was his ticket, and he still had to sell it to me? Sounds like you two are really struggling. I took a deep breath, fighting down the urge to get violent. I rolled my eyes internally and, once again, summoned my respect for my paycheck. If there's nothing else, I'll head out. Just let me know when you've signed it. Kevin picked up his phone, spun around in his chair to face his back to me, and waved me away. I shook my fist viciously at his back. At lunchtime, Chloe sent me a message. You dummy, you're buying me dinner tonight. Remembering the concert ticket I had traded for a handbag, I quickly agreed. Whatever you want, it's on me. Chloe sent a voice message back. Look at you being all generous now. I was starting to think you were a total cheapskate with me. I sheepishly replied with a sticker of a heart made of flowers. At 3 in the afternoon, people in the office were starting to slack off. I took out my phone, placed it next to my keyboard, and secretly started booking a restaurant to treat Chloe tonight. This place has a great salad that I remember Chloe loves. Perfect. I sent a confirmation message to the restaurant manager, feeling pleased. Just as I was about to check my email to see what else needed to be done today, Kevin's voice boomed from behind me. Does the company pay you to play on your phone? I froze, seeing Kevin's big face in the reflection of my dark computer screen. A rustling sound went through the office as my colleagues quickly hid their own phones. But it was like Kevin had his sights set only on me. He walked over to my desk and slammed a pile of documents down. The loud noise made my heart jump. I'll have you fired sooner or later for this kind of slacking. Don't come crying to me then. The office was dead silent, Kevin's voice echoing in the small space. After venting his anger at me, he stomped back to his office. My colleague across from me waited until his door was shut before whispering, "What's with him today? He's acting like he's on a warpath." "Don't worry, Susan, He can't fire you for no reason. I wasn't really worried about him firing me, but I was a little hurt and confused about being yelled at so suddenly. We'd always been professional with each other. Why was he taking his anger out on me today? I had finished all my work, and everyone else was slacking off too. I'd even seen him through the glass partition of his office, grinning at his phone like an idiot. When I met up with Chloe, I didn't even give her a chance to scold me for being heartless. I launched right into a tirade about what a massive jerk Kevin was. Back when we were still together, if I bought a nice skincare set, he'd call me a spendthrift and say I didn't know how to save money. Seriously? Was I spending his money? When we first started dating, every time I gave him an expensive gift, he'd say, "Oh, you shouldn't have, we don't need material things to sustain our relationship." Then he'd happily accept it and give me a bottle of perfume with a crooked label in return, telling me it was just as good as the designer stuff and that we didn't need to waste money. Thanks, I guess. He couldn't afford the rent for a nice apartment downtown but would complain that the lighting was bad, the layout was weird, or the orientation was unlucky. My brother was speechless. He'd already given him a huge discount on the rent as a favor to me, and this guy was still being picky. The dude was broke as a joke but had no self-awareness. After a few years, he finally becomes a department head and thinks he's a big shot. He has to make a whole show of signing documents with his fancy $1,000 pen for everyone to see. And when I sold him your ticket, he had the nerve to mock me for being poor enough to scalp tickets. I can't believe I ever put up with him. I was in the middle of my rant when Chloe suddenly looked behind me. "Excuse me, miss, are you listening to our conversation?" I whipped my head around angrily, ready to confront whoever was eavesdropping. When I turned, I saw Mandy standing right behind me, staring intently at me. A chill ran down my spine. For a split second, I gripped my cup tightly, my mind flashing through 1,000 scenes of exes and new girlfriends getting into dramatic catfights and throwing coffee at each other. Seeing my uneasy expression, Chloe couldn't help but ask, "Do you two know each other?" "What's with that look?" I forced a smile. "This is Kevin's girlfriend, Mandy." Chloe was stunned. But Mandy's reaction was nothing like I'd expected. With a grave expression, she asked with difficulty, "So, he really is a total social climbing mooch, isn't he?" "Huh." I was floored. Mandy sat down next to me, squeezing in close. "Scoot over, Mrs. L," she said. My brain was short-circuiting. Mandy continued, "He's the same way with me, exactly like you just described. I didn't mind so much before when he didn't have money, but he's a department head now with a decent income, and he still hasn't given me a single gift of equal value. And that promotion? My dad pulled some strings to get it for him. Now he lives in my apartment, eats my food, uses my things. I've known for a while that something was off. And that night at the concert, he was so ridiculous, acting like buying one ticket made him some kind of hero." Chloe had a complicated look on her face. "Wow, you two, you sure have a faded, terrible taste in men." I quickly looked around, making sure none of Leo's people were nearby. "Don't say that. My taste is excellent now. Besides, I'm a married woman with a kid. Don't you dare associate me with that kind of sensitive topic. It's dangerous." I'm so paranoid because one time, Chloe and I were out to dinner, and this really muscular guy walked by our table. I casually remarked, "Now those are some muscles. You'd feel safe going out for a late-night barbecue with him." Little did I know, Leo's manager was eating at the next table over. That night, I came home to an interrogation from Leo. He pinned me with one hand, his gaze dangerous. "I don't make you feel safe? My muscles aren't good enough?" I nodded vigorously, then realized that was the wrong answer and shook my head. Leo leaned in closer, his presence overwhelming. "What does that mean? We've only been married for a short time, and you're already tired of me?" His expression turned slightly wounded. I shook my head frantically. "No, of course not. I just saw something on the news that day, and it made me think of it." "How did you even find out? Are you having me followed?" I went on the offensive, trying to deflect. Leo released my wrist. Just as I was feeling triumphant, thinking I'd won the round and was about to get up, he pushed me back down. Trying to run? Trying to shift the blame? My escape plan failed. I sighed in defeat and closed my eyes, resigned to my fate. Mandy vented to us for another half hour. The session concluded with Leo calling me to come home, Mandy creating a 3-person group chat to continue the conversation later, and her declaring she'd be eternally grateful if I could get her a signed album from Leo. My driver, Mr. Chen, was already waiting for me at the curb. After I got in the car, my phone buzzed with a new message. I swiped it open and immediately felt annoyed. Mr. Klein, you're such a big fan, right? I recommended you to the administration department to help them with the annual party. I nearly ground my teeth to dust. He was forcing me to work overtime out of spite. I can tolerate a lot, but I draw the line at extra work. Mr. Klein, I haven't finished the proposal you gave me today. I'm worried I'll slow down the administration department's progress and affect everyone's timeline. I could practically picture Kevin's smug face through the screen. I'm confident you'll handle everything perfectly. I went home fuming. I didn't even have to open the door myself. Leo was already leaning against the gate. He was wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, looking sharp, and his loose-fitting loungewear couldn't hide his impressive muscles. Leo smirked, raising an eyebrow at me. I stormed up to him and planted a firm kiss on his lips. Mwah. Leo wrapped his arms around me. Years of working out meant he could lift me effortlessly and carry me home. He placed me on the sofa and leaned in to kiss me, but I quickly pushed him away. Where's Lily? I didn't hear her crying. Leo braced his arms on either side of me, his deep eyes fixed on mine. You only care about her. What about me? I couldn't help but laugh. Leo, baby, how old are you again? Leo smiled, his long, fox-like eyes crinkling at the corners. You seem angry today. Who got on your nerves? Just thinking about it made me mad again. It's that jerk Kevin. It's already busy at the end of the year, and now he's making me work with the admin department on the annual party. I heard they're hiring a celebrity this year, which will probably be an even bigger headache. Leo toyed with my fingers. You mean the ex who made you scalp my ticket? What's the big deal? If it gets too hard, your husband can just come sing a song for your company. I promise I won't make things difficult for you. I playfully headbutt him. You're way too famous. I can't afford you. If you want to sing, grab a guitar and go serenade the garden, but don't wake up Lily. Leo was clearly not satisfied with my response. He scooped me up again and carried me to the bedroom. I flailed my arms. Put me down, you brute. I need to take a shower. Leo stopped, looked me in the eyes, and gave me a sudden, fierce kiss. I'll help you. The next day, I slumped into my chair at work with a heavy sigh. I waited for Kevin to saunter into his office before I quickly followed him in, hoping to make one last attempt to get out of this thankless job. He shot me down with a series of sarcastic remarks and informed me that the administration department had already sent me the official invitation. Ugh, work is the worst. I logged into the company's internal network to accept the group chat invitation from the admin team when a private message popped up. Sweetie, I hear Leo isn't too busy lately. Why don't the three of you come over for dinner this weekend? I replied listlessly, we'll see. I'm really busy right now. My dad, who apparently had nothing better to do, replied instantly, cut the crap. You think I don't know what you do online all day? I work very hard, thank you very much. The next Employee of the Year award has my name on it. My dad sent me a few screenshots. I looked closer. They were all records of me using the company network to read novels and watch videos of Leo's concerts. I panicked. How can you spy on people's privacy like that? Are you so bored that you monitor your employees all day? I don't have time for that. I only monitor you. I could practically see my dad's smirk through the screen. I sighed. The company network was clearly not a lawless place. I'll have to use my own phone from now on. Ugh. But then I'll have to keep charging it, which is so annoying. As expected, when Friday came, I had to work overtime. I still had no idea what use I was to the admin department. We spent the whole day rushing around, and one proposal after another got shot down. Once we finally picked a celebrity, we had to scramble to negotiate with their management team. The group chat with Chloe and Mandy had over 99 unread messages, but I didn't have time to join their complaint session. Every day, I'd get home just in time to give my precious daughter a kiss and my pouting husband a kiss before collapsing into bed. One night, I woke up feeling thirsty and got up to get a glass of water. I opened my eyes and saw Leo propped up on his elbow, staring at me motionlessly in the dark. I almost screamed. Leo clapped a hand over my mouth. Go ahead and scream. No one will come to save you. I slapped his hand away and yawned. It's the middle of the night. Aren't you going to sleep? Are you trying to win a staring contest? Leo looked at me mournfully. I'm going to report your company. That's a bold move, considering it's your father-in-law's company. Your job is seriously impacting my life. Seeing my confused look, he added, my nightlife. Leo shifted his position. How long is this going to go on? I thought for a moment. Next Tuesday at the latest, I think. The annual party is over then, so I should be done working 2 jobs. Leo's voice took on a sour tone. So, after all this work, which celebrity did you decide on? I was exhausted and yawned again. Ryan. He's less famous than you, and he's within our budget. Leo nodded and smiled, a knowing look on his face. Oh, my junior colleague from the same agency. His junior colleague was completely unreliable. On the day of the annual party rehearsal, everyone was anxiously waiting for his team to arrive. We made several calls, but no one picked up. Kevin stood with one hand on his hip, the other jabbing a finger practically in my face. How did you handle this? Weren't you the one in charge of coordinating with them? Is this the result of your coordination? I was numb. We had a signed contract, but if they don't show up, what can I do? Am I supposed to go kidnap the guy? The head of the administration department patted his shoulder, his expression worried, but he still tried to reassure me. Susan, try contacting them again. If that doesn't work, we can submit a request to see if we can change this part of the event. My colleagues, who had been working hard on this for weeks, were also panicking, but no one blamed me. They started brainstorming solutions. Why don't we just use the budget for a big prize drawing? That's more practical, right? Yeah. That's a lot of money. We could all have some fun with it. As time was running out, I desperately snuck off to a quiet corner and called Leo. Can you get in touch with your junior colleague? Why isn't he showing up like we agreed? The party is about to start. Suddenly, someone tapped me on the shoulder from behind. My junior colleague had an emergency. The senior had to step in for him. I turned around in shock. It was Leo, dressed in his man in black disguise, a triumphant smile in his foxy eyes. It's a pretty good deal. A free upgrade to first class. The annual party was a spectacular success. The cheers from the crowd were deafening. A colleague I knew came over to chat. You guys really pulled it off. The company must have spent a fortune this year to get Leo. Who would have thought? I couldn't even get tickets to his concert, and now I get to hear him live for free. A year of hard work was worth it for this. I just laughed awkwardly. My colleagues from the admin department asked me what happened, and I had to be vague. Ryan's team said something came up suddenly, so he asked his senior colleague to fill in. That's not a breach of contract, is it? My colleague was overjoyed. No. Of course not. I'd take a substitute like this any day. I laughed awkwardly again. Kevin was sitting nearby, and I could faintly hear him on the phone. A moment later, Mandy posted in our group chat, Leo is at your company party? Yep, I replied, snapping a quick photo and sending it to her. I'm on my way right now. Mandy arrived, out of breath, just as Leo was starting his last song. Kevin wrapped his arm around her intimately. I knew you liked him. So for the company party, I specifically had Susan arrange for Leo to come. As long as you pay enough, you can get anyone. Mandy and I made eye contact, our expressions both screaming you've got to be kidding me. Kevin leaned in to kiss her. But to make my Mandy happy, no amount of money is too much. Are you serious? Did you pay for this? Why are you acting so generous? Mandy pretended to look at her phone, ducking her head to avoid his kiss. Kevin looked a little annoyed. He glanced over at me, his eyes filled with a new level of smug superiority. I thought that once the party was over, I could finally relax for a while. But I was wrong. Kevin had apparently gone insane. At the morning meeting, he called me out by name. Some people just can't handle responsibility. They don't do their work properly, and they can't even handle a simple task. I want to remind everyone here that this company pays you a lot of money, and it's not for some people to just slack off and get by. Kevin stood in front of the whiteboard, looking at me with contempt. At this point, I felt nothing. I just wanted to see how low this person could go. A boss is a boss. Just because we might have had a past connection doesn't mean I will tolerate your mistakes or take the blame for your failures. I hope certain people will take some time to reflect on themselves. Sometimes I really have to wonder how my dad chooses his senior management. Does he not look at their intelligence level at all? If this continues, you'll be pushed out by new talent sooner or later. I'd like to see someone try. A powerful voice boomed from the conference call speaker. I had almost forgotten that every department's morning meeting is connected to the main online system for my dad to monitor. He listens in when he has time, just to keep a pulse on things. But clearly, Kevin had never experienced this before. In the massive online meeting room, the green microphone icon lit up under the avatar labeled chairman. I'd like to see who dares to push out my daughter. This is unbelievable. Even though my dad always told me to be low-key, to not flaunt my wealth, and to remain calm, I have to admit, hearing him say that felt incredibly satisfying. Kevin's face turned red, then white. He stammered, "Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Who are you referring to when you say, your daughter?" My dad's voice was full of authority. "You know exactly who I'm talking about. Don't play dumb with me. Get to my office, now." The chairman's microphone turned off. Everyone except Kevin let out a sigh of relief. Then, the green light flashed on again, making everyone hold their breath. "Susan. You get up here too. Getting bullied in your own family's company. You're pathetic." I just shrugged and walked out of the office first. In the elevator, Kevin asked me nervously, "You're the chairman's daughter?" I glanced at him without saying a word. Kevin suddenly flared up. "All this time, why didn't you say anything? Were you trying to make me look like a fool on purpose?" I could finally look at him like the idiot he was. "Are you serious? So if I were the chairman's daughter, you would have been respectful, but since I was just a regular employee, I deserve to be bullied by you?" Kevin wanted to say more, but the elevator doors opened. The secretary was waiting at the door. When she saw me, she smiled warmly. "Miss, the chairman is waiting for you." Kevin tried to greet her, but the secretary didn't even look at him. In the chairman's office on the top floor, my dad sat in his massive executive chair, wearing a simple crewneck shirt favored by middle-aged men, looking effortlessly imposing. "I told you to come home on the weekend. Why didn't you? Your mother and I miss Lily." I went over and started rubbing his shoulders. "I was busy with your company's annual party." My dad patted my hand gently. "What do you mean, my company? Isn't it your company too? You're not happy working for yourself?" Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Kevin's knees buckle. I chuckled to myself. That's what you get for being so arrogant. My dad turned his stern gaze on Kevin. "If I hadn't randomly decided to check on what my daughter does all day, I would never have known we have people like you in this company. As a leader, you don't lead by example. Instead, you abuse your power for personal gain and meddle in the affairs of other departments. And yet, your sales figures are leading the entire company." My dad leaned forward, as if sharing a secret. "You must have made a lot of money as a department head, haven't you?" Kevin's face went pale. He knew that the way he was making money wasn't exactly legal. From what I knew, at least half of our department's contracts this year had a massive discrepancy between the signed amount and the amount actually received. It was obvious where that extra cash was going. I had been planning to gather more evidence and send him to prison for life. I just didn't expect my dad to blow up like this. My dad tapped his fingers gently on the armrest, leaning back relaxedly, and motioned for me to continue rubbing his shoulders. "Go back. And wait." Kevin stumbled out of the office. That night, my phone started vibrating non-stop. Kevin was spamming me with messages. "Susan, can you forgive me? I had no choice but to break up with you. My mother was sick and needed money urgently, and you wouldn't lend it to me, so I had to find someone else. I know I was wrong now. The truth is, I still love you. Will you come back to me? I don't mind that you've been married and have a child. Just come back to me. Susan, for the sake of our past, can you please talk to the chairman for me? I'm willing to pay compensation, whatever amount you say, I'll pay it. Just please, ask him not to call the police, okay? Susan, please pick up my call. I've booked a table at your favorite restaurant. I'm waiting for you. Susan. I replied, get a life. My husband is Leo. Take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're even in the same league. I screenshotted the conversation and then blocked him. I opened my chat with Mandy. Come look at Mr. Delusionally Confident. I sent her the screenshot. Mandy replied with a series of 6 periods. Mandy's phone was also being blown up by him. But she was busy on the phone with me. Men are such good actors, aren't they? When they're chasing you, they'll say anything, no matter how ridiculous. Tell me about it. And now that he's in deep trouble, he still thinks he's a catch. Mandy sighed. I really regret having my dad pull those strings to get him that promotion. What a total loss. Mandy's family was a business partner of ours. They were smaller, but we had worked together for years. Her dad thought Kevin was a promising young talent with a bright future, which is why he helped him get promoted. Who knew Kevin would turn out to be so greedy and shameless? When Kevin was arrested, it was downstairs from Mandy's apartment. When I didn't show up, he turned to begging Mandy, pleading for her family to give him another chance. Mandy didn't go down. Her dad went out to handle it for her. He slapped Kevin across the face. Get lost. According to Mandy, as Kevin was being escorted into the police car with his arms twisted behind his back, he was still staring up at her window with a look of deep affection. It freaked her out so much she immediately slammed her curtains shut. That night, the company sent out an official notice. Kevin was terminated for violating his employment contract. The matter of his embezzlement would be handed over to the courts for judgment. I invited Mandy and Chloe over to my house for hot pot. The three of us happily cooked our food in the spicy broth, while Leo sat beside us mournfully dipping vegetables into the plain broth. Mandy asked me, "Can't your husband eat spicy food?" I picked up a piece of spicy tripe with my chopsticks, waved it in front of Leo's face, and then popped it into my mouth. He can, but he has to protect his throat, so he doesn't dare. Leo got up and went back to his room. Mandy looked a little worried. Is he mad? Before I could answer, Leo came back out wearing a mask that had a hole cut out for his mouth. It covered his nose and chin perfectly but left his mouth free. Chloe laughed so hard she dropped her chopsticks. After dinner, we sat in the garden, looking at the stars. Mandy suddenly sighed. How could I ever have fallen for a guy like that? I sighed too. And how could I have married a husband like this? Chloe nudged me, her eyes darting to a spot behind me. I whipped my head around. Leo was standing there, holding Lily, looking down at me with a completely blank expression. I quickly plastered a smile on my face. I mean, how could I have married a husband who is so handsome, charming, rich, talented, thoughtful, and a great singer? Mandy said, I have a bold request. Could I ask your handsome, charming, rich, talented, thoughtful, and great singing husband for a signed photo? You know, I'm a huge fan. Of course. Better yet, let's all take a picture together. With everyone's enthusiastic agreement, we all stood together for a photo. In the picture, there were three beautiful women with radiant smiles, one sweetly sleeping baby, and one very handsome pop star.